Hello and welcome to a new video on Skolera. In today's video we will continue with the admin interface, and this time we're going to take a look at the menu side part, which talks about focus insights. Now under this part there are several things, including users and user management, course management, zones and weekly plans. We'll start with the users, where we have a list of our different roles of users down here. If you go to students, this will give you a list of the students. You will see the total number of students in the school out of the expected number, how many of these students are activated and how many are deactivated, how they are broken down if you have different sections in the school, what is the values and what's the percentage of each section in the school. Then you actually have the list of the names themselves. Go back to students, sorry. Right. For each student you have their username, the name of the student, the name of the parent, which section he belongs to, which stage, which level, which class, the course group, plus the status. The status is where it marks whether this student is activated or deactivated. Basically, deactivated students means that they are prevented from accessing the platform. When they try to log in, they will be logged out from the platform. They will not be able to log in. But their data and everything remains in the system and is also visible for the teachers to use and so on. Now, next to each student, from the three-dot menu, our action menu, you can do a number of things. You will not be able to edit the student details from here. Student details should be edited from Skolera ARP from the student affairs section to make any changes and to make sure that these changes are legitimate and correct. But you can deactivate the student account. If you just click on deactivate, the account will be deactivated, and you will notice here that the status has changed into a red dot instead of green. To activate him back, you can just click on activate again, and that will make the changes. But you can also hide grades from the student. If you want to hide grades, not only from the student in this case, you're hiding grades for both the student and the parent, which means that when they try to view the grades, they will get stars instead of the actual numbers. They won't be able to see the actual numbers for their grades. You can send a message to the student. You can reset a student password. Now, resetting passwords, in case a student forgot his password, in the login page, you have a forgot password link, which if he clicks on it, if he does have a valid email on the system, he should receive an email, a password reset link via email. What if he doesn't have a valid email or he doesn't have access to this email? In this case, he will have to come back to you as an administrator with the right permissions to be able to reset the password for them, issue a new password, and then send them this new password. You can also contact parent by sending a message to the parent, not to the student, or by filling in the student progress reports. You can also select a number of students, not just a single student. Let's hide this main menu right up here. Let's say I'm going to select those 2 or 3 students, and then from the top action menu, right up here, you can send a message, contact the parent, activate or deactivate, hide the grades, or show grades if the grades were already hidden. So you can do this as bulk as well. Now, you can also filter these students in different ways. By clicking on the filters here, you can filter to see students of a particular section, stage, level, even by particular course, and a course group, classes A or B. You can also filter by status, activated or deactivated, or you can search for a student by name directly. Now, once you have this selection, you can then choose to select all of these. So it will say select all 9 students right up there. And if you click on show selected, it will list these students. Okay. Now, if I don't select one of these, okay, unclick on that, and then you say show selected, it will only show you the 8 students that you've selected, not all the other students. Okay? Right up there. Now, you can then use the top menu to again send a message, contact parent, activate, deactivate, hide grades or show grades for those selected students right there. You can click on unselect all. This will unselect everybody if you want to. Or also when you select, you have the option to select all 888 students. So instead of going through page by page, you can just select the entire school altogether, not only the ones filtered up here. but let's unselect these. We don't want to send anything to all the 888 students. Okay? This basically gives us the user management for our students. Now we can do similar things with teachers. You can also see the list of teachers. For each teacher, it mentions his username, name, section, stages that he teaches, levels that he teaches, courses that he teaches, classes that he teaches, and also the status. And from the three-dot menu, you can also deactivate the teacher account, send him a message, or reset the password. For parents, you can also do the same thing, where here it shows the parent name, his children. And remember, if you have a parent who has more than one child, you will find that it has two children are written, one under the other. Okay, I think these are all ones. You can still do the selections and everything. And also from the three-dot menu, you can deactivate the account, send the message, or reset the password for the parents. For HODs, the same thing. You can see the usernames, names, sections, stages, and if you click on courses, it will show you the courses that they are responsible for. And also from the three-dot menu, deactivate, send message, and reset passwords for these users. Finally, the admins. This is the list of admins. Each admin is set with his own permissions, the scope of permissions, right up there. Some are multiple levels and classes, others are only on particular levels. And from the admins on the side, you can edit the admins only if you have the permission. So not every admin will be able to edit other admins. You can deactivate their accounts, reset their passwords, or even delete the admin accounts. Now, when we talked about the permissions previously, we talked about the permissions that can be granted and given. But there is also the scope of permissions. If an admin is only assigned, like here for example, this admin is only assigned on grade 12. So even if he has full permissions, he can only apply these things or do these things for grade 12. He will not be able to handle any other grades. So this is two ways combined together, this plus the permission management part, which allows us to tell for the admins which classes they can target and what they can do inside these classes based on the combination of those two things. So this was for our user management. The next part is the courses, which from here will show us all the courses in the school. And again, you can also filter these courses. You can either search by course name or you can filter by section, stage, and the particular level. For each of the courses, it mentions the course code, the course name, the section it belongs to, the stage, this level, the grading periods based from the grading system that's applied, who are the teachers that teach this course, which classes take this course, and who is the academic head of department if an academic head of department can be assigned. From the side here, you can apply grading system, enable and disable virus, and you can assign subjects. Remember when we talked about the main subjects, you can assign this course under a main or a mother subject if you want to. Now also, if you click on the course name, this will open a new page that shows the course details. You have the course details, you have the grading system that's applied on this course, right up here with all its details and numbers. From here, if you edit this course, you can change some of these settings. You can change, of course, the course name is preset and the course code is preset. But you can change the order in certificate. What does that mean? If I'm issuing a report, which order will this subject appear in? So this subject will appear as the 6th subject in order, or subject number 6, if there should be 5 others before it. And of course, you can show a report display name. Now, this is what the course is called on Skolera, but I wanted to show differently on the report. So you write another name that you want to use for the report. Quite often this happens, for example, when you have a second language, French and German, you can either show it as French and German, or you can decide to show it as second language for both French and German. Right up there. Also, the selections at the bottom, these checkboxes, include in certificate, that means do you want to include this subject in the report cards or not? Include in total grades, do you want to include it as part of the core subjects so it will go into the overall evaluation of the student or not? And to enable virus, this is an additional feature which is mainly for mathematics, physics and chemistry, to allow teachers and students to use extended formulas and extended symbols to be used, mathematical symbols and so on, and chemical symbols to be used in their courses. If we don't want to enable this, for Arabic of course we don't need this, so we can always disable this, and you just click on Save Changes. Now you can also see under here the course groups or the classes, and you can see which mother subject this belongs to, or the main subject this belongs to. You can also see the grading system right here. You can edit the grading periods. So you might want to edit and want to make a change to this. Instead of 70, I want this to be out of 80. And you notice here how they turned red, because this must add up to 100%. So we have to change this one to be 20. Once that's set, it's okay. The same thing, you can also change the overall for the term. Here, term 1 was 60%, term 2 is 40%, but I don't want that. I want them to be equal terms, so I will change this to 50. And also change this one to 50. Once you've made these changes, you can click on Save. Of course, we need to be very careful when making changes to our grading system. We don't want to delete existing categories or existing grading periods, because this basically means that all student grades under these categories or under these grading periods will also be deleted. Okay, so be very careful when doing this. And in fact, we prefer, before you attempt to do any of these changes, contact your Skolera support team, ask them about the change you want to make, and we will advise you whether it will reflect correctly or whether it might result into any errors related to the student grades, and then you can take an informed decision based on that. Also from the courses, let's go back to our courses right here. I can actually inspect everything the teachers have done inside these courses. As a person in charge, I can just click on teachers, click on the name of a teacher, and from that point on, other than the side menu, everything I'm looking at is exactly the teacher's view. So you can see the courses that she teaches, the content applied, assignments, quizzes, posts, Teachers Hub, virtual classes, and course planner that the teacher has done inside this course. As an admin, I can actually work on a lot of these things as well. However, it will be recorded and will be registered that the admin is the one who made these changes. Other than that, I can actually go into the classes themselves and inspect more details inside the classes with the grades, attendance, behavior, students and weekly plans, and so on. If you want to take a look into deeper parts like this, we would strongly suggest that you follow the teacher training videos, which describes all of these features in detail, because as an admin you can do exactly the same thing in the same way that the teachers would do it. Now this basically covers this part from our courses. Next we have our zones right here, and as we mentioned, the zone is a place for grouping a number of users together. You can just go ahead and create a zone, and only an admin is allowed to create a zone. So you can create a new zone. Let's call this swimming club. Okay. Now you can write a zone description if you want to. Okay. You can even add an image for the zone if you'd like that, and then you click on Save. So now we'll find that the zone has been created. Okay. We see here swimming club, but it doesn't have any managers, and in fact it doesn't have any members yet. So from the three-dot menu, you can edit or delete the zone if you want, but if you go to manage members, this is how you can add different members into the zone. Right up there. You can assign some of these users to be zone managers. These are the ones who can communicate privately with other zone members, create events, add resources in the zone, and so on. And then you can just click on Save. So for the zones, they're created by an admin, members of the zone are added by an admin has to assign the zone managers, who then can take things over from there and communicate with other members in the zone. The last thing we have here under Focus Insights, last two things actually, is weekly plans. Now this is a particularly detailed type of weekly plan where you can just create the weekly plan. You can create a new weekly plan. You have to decide which section it belongs to, which stage, which level, and of course keep it an unpublished. Unpublished means that it should not be visible to students and parents yet. Then you can decide on the date for this weekly plan. Normally, since we're talking about the weekly plan, it should be by a week. So from day 2, it's from the 20th to the 25th, for example. You select which courses belong to this weekly plan. So here, for example, I want to include Arabic, English, mathematics. I don't want art and music. I want Islamic and Christian, and so on. Once you've decided on the courses that will be involved, click on Save and on View. If you view it, this is how it will appear. You have a general activity. This is the admin can fill in this general activity. You can upload a site image as an admin. Then each teacher will be able to fill in their own part. What are their plans on Tuesday? And if you look for Tuesday, what are they going to do for classwork? What are they planning for homework? What other activities are being planned for each day of the week? Once this is done, and once you know that all the teachers have filled this in, you can then change it to publish, which means it will be visible to students and parents as well. You can save these changes once we're done, and that's the weekly plans right there. The last thing we're going to cover is the question bank, and it's basically a list of all the questions that have been added by teachers or HODs to the platform. You as an admin can even add new ones, but even better, you can filter the existing questions by sections, stages, levels, courses, subject, mother subjects, the main subjects, question types, difficulty, numbers, a number, a particular question number, Bloom's taxonomy, you can even filter by that, and objective. Imagine that if you want to look for questions related to the present simple, for example, you will just go to the objectives and write present simple, and it will show up all the questions that have been marked that they are related to present simple. On top of that, you can just add a question. Questions are added after you fill in these external details. They are added exactly the same way you would add questions inside the quiz. One of the important things is that you have to select a subject. Okay? And under the subject, select the courses that are related to this subject. So let's say I want this course. It will automatically populate objectives from this course. If there are objectives found in the course, you can then select the objectives from this course. I'm going to add a couple more things. Actually, be very careful that you're assigning this question to foundation stage, all of FS1. If you want more details, you can then assign it to the exact course that you want. So I want it only for English, I want it only for mathematics, okay, and so on. All right? And then it will show the appropriate elective from there. You can select from these electives, okay, if you want to, right there. Add the question type, the difficulty type, and you can continue ahead by creating the question the way you would normally create a question inside the quiz. I'm not going to continue the step for now, but you've got the idea to do it, and that's how it works. So, in today's meeting, we've covered the part under Focus Insights, which included the user management, students, teachers, parents, HODs, and admins, the list of them and how we can filter through them, how we can communicate with these users, courses and how we can look at the course details, and how we can actually inspect teachers' work inside these courses. We've talked about the zones, creating weekly plans and what's their standards and how they're done, and finally the question bank and how we can filter existing questions or also add new questions from our own side. Thank you for joining us in today's video, and we hope to see you again in future videos with Skolera.